Good afternoon, my name is Captain A.Sullivan. I'm the company commander with Alpha Company for 4th Law Enforcement Battalion, Force Headquarters Group. So Alpha Company with 4th Law Enforcement Battalion, our role here is to provide law enforcement expertise. We've worked a lot with the security element here, and then also conducted a lot of cross training, providing some detainee operations handling, some CQB, and just in general security force for the base. Yeah, so a lot of the Marines have had it's been a great experience for them. Working with other partner nations is always really eye-opening. The Egyptians specifically are very welcoming, eager to work with us and train. So overall, it's been a good experience. But more so for my junior Marines who haven't had the opportunity yet to travel and work with foreign partners. So it's been an overall really good experience. Egypt's been wonderful. Like a lot of places, it's hot, but I'm originally from Texas, live in Florida now, so used to the heat. But a totally different environment than anywhere else I've been. But overall, a great experience. The Marines have learned a lot, and overall the training's been good. Honestly, ultimately, it was probably the pyramids. I mean, we're here to train, and that's great, but I'm really happy that my Marines were able to get out, see the pyramids, see the local places, work with the other countries, and then the cross training has been great as well. So that's another big piece of it. Worked with the Coast Guard a little bit, worked with some of the foreign partners, worked with all the AAV elements here. So that's been the best part, I would say. Yeah. I would say that working with a lot of the partner nations here, right, running through the CQB, running through detainee handling, there's subtle differences between how we do things, but ultimately many of the partner nations do things similar as far as our tactics and TTPs, and so that makes the interoperability really easy, despite the communication and language barrier. So one of the primary challenges coming out here is we've got a lot of tracks out here, we've got CEB out here, and a lot of Army partners, tanks. And so finding the room to integrate the law enforcement battalion into the training, finding those gaps to fill, how we can support the rest of the combat arms that are here was a little bit challenging at first, but through a lot of networking and then communication and just again being flexible, we've been able to conduct a lot of good training, train up the other elements, as well as they've trained us on things like vehicles, small boats, some of those assets. So that's been a good challenge to overcome. So Cultural Day, we took really 29 of my Marines, and we all went out to go see the pyramids. Excellent trip. Got to get up close, touch the pyramids, ride camels, of course buy trinkets from the locals. After that, we were able to experience the local cuisine, go to some of the shops, and so that was really neat. Learn a little bit about what some of their major exports are. Overall, I've learned that as a culture, they're very giving, they're very hospitable, and eager to talk to Americans, but especially eager to talk to Marines. Hi, I'm Captain A.Sullivan with Alpha Company from 4th Law Enforcement Battalion. I'm the company commander. So I'm a 5803 MP by trade. Okay. So MPs are primarily there to provide operational and administrative advising as far as all matters pertaining to law enforcement for the ground commander. Hi, my name is Captain A.Sullivan. I'm a 5803 military police company commander for Alpha Company, 4th Law Enforcement Battalion, Force Headquarters Group. So Alpha Company is here to provide security support. We're also tasked with advising the ground commander on all law enforcement matters with regards to operational and administrative tasks. So the Law Enforcement Battalion brings a lot of enabling capabilities. One of our biggest things is tactical site exploitation. That's basically where we go in and we conduct a forensic analysis on whether it be a cache site or a weapons bomb-making facility. We can pull fingerprints, DNA, and that will help the ground commander build a better intelligence picture of the area. We also do detainee operations. All right, so we'll handle all the detainees that the infantry units pick up, and then we also work conducting security, as everyone knows. So we've done some small boat operations. We've done riot control training, CQB, TSE. We've gotten mechanized infantry training in, call for fire class, detainee operations. So really a myriad of a bunch of different training opportunities, as well as pulling security forces the entire time. So working with the partner nations has been interesting. Everyone pretty much operates or conducts operations very similar, with the exception of a few TTPs. Biggest difficulty obviously has been the language barrier, but we've been able to work through that, as most Marines do, with the pointy-talkie method. But overall, it's been a good experience. They're very friendly people, very welcoming, and very eager to work with the U.S. Marines. Egypt's been pretty cool. I'll just put it that way. Not only working with the partner nations, but working with all the joint services, so the Army, being able to work a little bit with the Coast Guard as well, and then on top of all the training operations, getting out to see the pyramids and a little bit of the Egyptian culture has really been an unforgettable experience. So in the beginning, again, the primary challenge was just the storming phase of bringing together the Army and the Marine Corps, figuring out roles and responsibilities and who would take what. That was probably the biggest friction point in the beginning, coupled with also what the Egyptians wanted us to do and how we were to work and operate with them, and then having multiple different units at different locations, having to all communicate. So that was probably the biggest challenge. Overcame that with a lot of RFIs and just kind of everyone helping each other out, really. Cross communication, pulling resources together, sharing resources, and then having a really clear intent and vision of what this was supposed to look like at the end helped everyone unify their efforts. So the bluff difference between the Law Enforcement Battalion and the PMOs primarily work in garrison side, right? They're enforcing those rules and regulations of the base, right? They're conducting the security on the base, whereas the battalion provides a lot of other capabilities in the field that enable the combat forces to fight more effectively, such as intelligence collection through TSE, such as working dogs, CID investigations, and then detainee operations and riot control. Okay, so in the civilian world, I'm a project manager. I do multifamily and commercial construction. We build anything from small apartment complexes to $110 million high-rises up to 80 stories. And that primarily means that I'm engaging with anywhere from 30 to 100 different investors and partners and contractors on a daily basis, managing all the contracts, managing the work schedule, the sequencing of events, and just helping bring that team together to construct the final project. So while my MOS and my civilian career don't directly correlate as far as military police and construction, the big correlation, and really the only reason I even have the job, is from the leadership aspect. Learning how to lead Marines, learning how to lead multiple teams, staff section, is almost a direct correlation to what I do in the construction field, right? I've got multiple teams, I've got to sequence all the events, I've got a lot of logistics to take care of, I've got personnel that I have to manage as well. All those leadership things that you learn not only at TBS, but also just being a platoon commander, company commander, that all directly correlates to construction. So they're very identical, or similar I should say, in that way. So I think that a lot of the active duty component and possibly even civilians believe that the reserves is just a 1 week in a month, kind of ordeal. But really, the reserve gives me the ability to live my civilian life, to further my civilian career, set myself up for success in the future, but also enables me to still have that aspect of my life, that I enjoy the most, that I take the most pride in, which is the Marine Corps. I can sign up and take deployments as I'd like. I'm able to go once a year typically to some other nation and conduct exercises. So other than just the 2 weekends a month, I really kind of get to pick and choose almost what and when I do it. And that's a really great opportunity. It breaks up the monotony a lot of my civilian life. Yeah, so in the reserves, we spend a lot of time training. And I know on active duty side, the same thing, right? And everyone's kind of experiencing the same issue now, where you train, but you never get to play the game. So us in the reserves, we train as well, but then when we come to Oconus, it's like we're actually getting a dog in the fight right now, right? So they may not be a combat operation, but at least we're getting to go forward. We're getting to practice our skill sets. We're getting to come together as a unit and operate. And so that's kind of our piece in the game. And so anytime we get to go CONUS, that's the preference to working back in the States. And it's a great experience. We get to visit the culture, and so all around just really good.